Hi, Mr. Bates here. We're going to look at fitness testing. So, fitness testing is when someone measures either one or more of their components of fitness. It is very important, especially for when a performer knows what components of fitness are most important in their sport. It gives them then a measure of the level of their fitness, so therefore they can design a training program that suits their needs. So components of fitness also, and these fitness training links very closely to SMART targets, and especially the measurable. So this is the measurable section of someone's components of fitness. So what you can do is you can first of all measure your components of fitness by doing the various tests, and then when you start your training program, you can once again do these fitness tests again in the middle to see your progress, and then at the end you can do the fitness tests again to see if your training program was successful. If you did show significant improvements, then your training program was designed and suited well for you, but if you see no improvements, then maybe you need to start changing your fitness program or your training program. So what I'm going to try and do now is show you how to perform some of these fitness tests. So the test that we're going to look at here is for muscular endurance. So muscular endurance is the ability to exercise a set or group of muscles repeatedly without tiring. So you're going to need an appropriate surface, you're going to need a stopwatch to time 1 minute. So before you do any of these tests, make sure you do an appropriate warm-up, and then also one of the protocols is to make sure that you are using the correct technique. So this is the start position for sit-ups. Your legs need to be at 90 degrees, your hands on your thighs. So you are going to start your stopwatch, and this is the finish position, so that would count as 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you are going to carry on counting the number of repetitions per minute for sit-ups. So this sit-up test, the 1 minute sit-up test, is predominantly measuring the muscular endurance of your abdominals. So 30 more seconds, 2003, 2004, and so on. So I keep going for 1 minute. Stop there. Okay, so the next test that you could potentially do is the press-up test. So there's two different ways of doing this. So you can either do your full press-up. So this would be the start position. Try and keep a straight body. And this is the finish position. So you've got a straight body all the way through. So this is called the full press-up position. If you want to, you could do modified positions, and you've just got to read your table differently. But once again, what you need to do is try and maintain a straight body position all the way through. So I like to get my nose and my hips to touch the floor at the same time. So this is the modified press-up position. So once again, you count the number of repetitions in 1 minute. And then that's predominantly, for the press-ups, you are predominantly measuring the muscular endurance in your triceps, biceps, deltoids, pectorals, trapezius, so everything in the upper body. So the next test we're going to look at is speed. So speed is the ability to move quickly across the ground, or it's the ability of a limb, or sort of like to create a fast movement. So what you need for this one is you need 2 cones. This is demonstration purposes, to be 30 meters apart. You need a partner with a stopwatch, and then what you are going to do is you are going to sprint as fast as you can, accelerate towards the first set of cones. So it's a moving start. You are testing speed. So once you've got past these cones, your partner's going to hit the stopwatch, and as you run, your partner is going to stop the stopwatch as you get to the end. Okay? So check your protocol, your distances, because sometimes they are different. So this one is a rolling start. Start at the first cone, stop at the second, or continue running through, stop the stopwatch through the second cone that is 30 meters apart. So the next test we're going to look at is strength. So strength is the maximum force a muscle or group of muscles can apply against resistance. So the ultimate test for strength is your 1 rep max. So what you ultimately do is if you can test different muscles and lift the maximum force you can, slowly increase till you can lift those no longer. So you can change, if you go down the gym for example, you can change the different sort of like machines or weights to work out and test your strength of your different muscle groups. So what we have here, though, is we've got a hand grip dynamometer. So this predominantly measures your hand grip strength. So that would be useful for people like climbers, or maybe racket players, or maybe judo, sort of like players who've got to grip onto something. So this is measured in kilograms. So what you can do is you can use this bit at the bottom to adjust the size of the distance here, depending on the size of your hand. And what's going to happen is you squeeze this as hard as you can, and then what you do is you can read off your measurement and work out your strength of your grip strength in kilometers. So, kilometers? Sorry, I mean in kilograms. Right, so what I do is I start with the grip strength or hand grip dynamometer above my head, and I squeeze and bring it down. And so what I do is I do this a maximum of 3 times. 2, 3. And then I can check my reading. I can do this for both arms. So squeeze, bring it down, squeeze, bring it down. And then once I've finished, I can spin this bit around in the middle to reset. So I can now measure my hand grip strength in kilograms, not kilometers, kilograms. Hand. So we're going to look at power now. I have 2 tests over here that are specifically going to look at the power in my legs. So power is the ability to combine speed and strength. So the first test that you can look at is the sergeant jump test, or the vertical jump test. You stand sideways against the wall. You put your fingers at the bottom here and you raise this according to your height. Some people like to put a bit of chalk on their fingers to make the mark, or you might need to get a partner to help you measure the height that you jump. Your feet start stationary on the floor. So you crouch down, you can swing your arms, and you jump as high as you can. So hopefully your partner can measure your height there. So what you do is you do this 3 times, and then you take the best or the highest jump that you have performed in centimetres. So the next test that you can also do for power, specifically to test your legs, is the standing broad jump. So the way this works, you stand and start behind a line. Once again, your feet start on the floor, and then you try and jump the furthest distance horizontally as far as you can. So I'm going to stand slightly apart. Okay, now I measure where the back of my heels go against a tape measure that's on the floor. Once again, I do this 3 times, and I measure the furthest horizontal distance that I have jumped. So that is 2 measurements of power specifically for your legs. The next component of fitness that we're going to measure is flexibility, and we're going to use something called the sit and reach test. So the protocol of this is to make sure that you take off your shoes and socks, so have bare feet. Obviously conduct a suitable warm-up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my feet against the back of the box and make sure that I keep straight legs. I'm then going to put my hands on top of each other, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down, pushing the ruler in this case forwards, and I'm going to have 3 practice attempts. So 1, 2, 3, and then on my 4th attempt I'm going to hold for 2 seconds. 4, 1, 2. Okay, so wherever my ruler now lies, that is my score for my sit and reach test, so 19 centimetres. So just to recap, bare feet, legs flat to the floor, hands on top of each other, palms down, 3 practice attempts. On 4th attempt, hold for 2 seconds, read in centimetres where it lies. Okay? Flexibility. So the next test that we're going to look at is agility, the Illinois agility test. So agility is the ability to change direction at a speed. It's otherwise also known as nimbleness. So the length of the course, okay, is 10 metres. The width of it is 5 metres. And then, as you can see in this case, the 4 red cones in the middle are each at 3.3 metres apart. So to start this activity, you have to lie down flat on your belly. You put your hands next to your shoulders. Your partner is going to be with a stopwatch, and they are going to say go and start the stopwatch, and you are going to run. The best way to describe it is up, down, wiggle, wiggle, up, down. So I'll put a picture of the route of the course, but I'll run the course here. You can see what I do. Obviously it won't be with a time. So, start. Lie flat on the floor, shoulders apart. Partner says go. Get up quickly. Up, down, wiggle. Whoa, bit slippy. Wiggle, up, and down, and stop. Woo! That was hard work. So, the Illinois agility test. The next test we're going to look at is balance. So balance is the ability to keep your body stable while maintaining your centre of mass above your base of support. So what you're going to need for this test is a partner with a stopwatch. I'd preferably do it in bare feet again. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start by standing with your hands on your hip, 2 feet together. You place your foot, can't even do that, foot against your knee. And then what's going to happen is you're going to lift the heel of your foot, and then your partner is going to start the stopwatch when your heel is lifted off the ground, like so. And then either when your leg is taken away or your heel of your foot touches the ground, your partner stops the watch. So if you want to, you can try and do this for both legs. So, the partner is going to start the stopwatch when I lift up my heel, and then, boom, I've put my heel down, the partner has stopped. So, that is called the standing stalk test, and the units of measurement are in seconds. That is balance. So the next test that we're going to look at is the wall throw test, and that measures coordination. So coordination is the ability to move different body parts together effectively. So the way this test works is I've got a cone set up that is 2 meters away from the wall. I'm standing behind that 2 meter line and I'm holding the ball in my right hand. You need a partner with a stopwatch, and that partner is going to time 30 seconds, and they also might help you count your complete throws and catches. So a complete throw and catch would be from right hand to left hand. So that is 1. So I'm now going to go back from the left hand to right hand. So 2, 3, 4, 5. If I happen to drop the ball and then pick it up, that is not counted as a complete throw and catch. So here we go. So on your marks, get set, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2,000, 30 seconds, stop. So I've measured the complete number of throws and catches. So that is the wall throw test, and that measures coordination. So this test now is going to measure reaction time, and this is going to be the reaction time ruler test. So reaction time, or reaction, is about the ability to respond quickly to a stimulus. So for example, a sprinter will react to the gun to accelerate out of the blocks. So what you do is you need a ruler for this test, and you need a partner, and you are going to put your thumb, the top of your thumb, level with 0. Your partner is going to then drop the ruler like so, and then you can measure your reaction in terms of centimeters. So the bottom of my thumb says 8.5. So you can do this multiple times. Okay. So in this case, that would be 14.5. So what I'm then going to do is take my best measurement out of 3. So that is the reaction time ruler test. So there we go, there's all different types of tests that you can do, especially within the hall. Obviously, when you look at cardiovascular endurance, you're looking at a multi-stage fitness test. So that is to run back and forth over 20 meters on the beep, and you can record your levels and stages. The other cardiovascular fitness test is the 12-minute walk or Cooper test. So that obviously measures distance that you run within 12 minutes. So with any of these fitness tests, you've got the sort of like the negative sides to them as well. So what you have to do, obviously, I've talked about those protocols being in place. Those protocols are in place so that I could take this test anywhere in the world, and then you can compare your standards to other people. And that's why you've got those tables comparing to normative data. So that can give you a good level of where you're at, whether you're excellent, poor, or so on. So, as I said, these fitness tests are great for helping you with the measurable aspect of your components of fitness when you want to start or create a training program. However, the downside to these tests is that they are not sport specific or action specific in a lot of cases. So what you may have to do is, I know that football teams, professional teams do this, they create their own football tests, rugby tests, or sport related tests to match their needs, and then they can keep the data and they can repeat the same tests over time. And so obviously they're looking at how effective their training programs are, they're looking at their fitness levels of their players to make sure that, hey, they're not running so well on the cardio or the multi-stage fitness test this week, so therefore I do not think they are fit enough to play a full 90 minutes in the game. They're going to get fatigued and tired too easily, they might have to be substituted early, so therefore we're going to put someone else who's in a better state than them, and so on. Okay? So as we're saying, make sure some of these tests are not sport specific. The other thing is you've got to look at accuracy. Obviously you're relying on other people to time you. and look at your distances and so on. So the only way that you can be really accurate is if you get very high technology, lasers to measure your 30-meter sprint and so on. So there are obviously discrepancies in a person's timing. And so that's all to do with reliability. Also, it might be that you look at different surfaces. So today I used a gym surface, which it's quite grippy, but as you saw, I slipped over, and that's down to my shoes wearing out. So you have to try and replicate these tests in similar conditions. If I was to do the test out on the grass in the rain, it would probably be very different from doing it inside the sports hall with good footwear and so on. So those are some things you need to take into account. I've put the normative tables up for you to have a look at, but it's always good to record your results and look at improvement over time. Hope you've enjoyed this video.